hearing. Without objection, so ordered. I also ask unanimous consent that members not on the subcommittee be permitted to sit with the subcommittee at today's hearing and ask questions. Without objection, so ordered. I guess that means that Bo and Remy are allowed to stay. So thank you, too, for coming. This morning, we're going to be discussing an issue of great importance to me and I think to the country when it comes to emergency preparedness and response, and that's animal welfare in disasters. 85 million families in the United States have at least one pet. That's nearly 67% of all households in the country. These pets, these animals, are like members of our family, and their safety has a major impact on how people prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters. The issue of caring for animals in emergencies is not a new concern. In fact, we can look to many of the world's oldest cultures and religions for the first evidence of emergency planning for animals in disasters. In Genesis, we find the story of Noah and the great flood. In it, God directs Noah to gather up 2 of each animal onto the ark to save them from the impending flood. So whether it's a family cat, a service animal, the cattle on your ranch, a working dog along a first responder, when we take care of these animals during a disaster, it makes it easier for people to be willing to evacuate and then later in the process of recovery. And speaking of evacuation, in fact, there was a study done after Katrina that showed of those who failed to evacuate, 44% stated that it was because they didn't want to leave their pets behind. So today we'll explore existing authorities in the Stafford Act that help guide FEMA's work in this space and the assistance it provides to states and localities. We'll examine gaps in federal emergency management policy that have led to family separation from their pets and the deaths of tens of thousands of animals. We'll also hear from groups providing services outside of the Stafford framework and hear about opportunities where the federal government could promote animal welfare and help alleviate these separations and losses. I'll note that in the recently passed Disaster Recovery and Reform Act, known as DERA, we included language to establish veterinary response teams utilizing the expertise of our nation's unsurpassed higher ed veterinary programs. The provision, Section 1218, is the next step in a progression of public policy developed in response to animal-related challenges dating back to the early 1990s and Hurricane Andrew. They have unfortunately continued to be an issue in large and small-scale events such as Hurricane Katrina, Rita, Wilma, Florence, Harvey, Irma, Maria, and Michael, Superstorm Sandy, and the recent California wildfires. However, much to my dismay, FEMA has so far chosen to ignore this provision. During the last 5 years alone, our nation has experienced nearly 500 presidentially declared disaster events, including, as I listed, significant hurricanes, wildfires, floods, and earthquakes. In each of these instances, we've repeatedly seen the challenges that come with a federal response to disaster when tens of thousands of animals, some were rescued and evacuated, some reunited, but some lost. Prussian German philosopher Kant famously said, "We can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals." So let us be judged today by what we can accomplish to protect animals in disasters. So today's hearing will provide this subcommittee with an opportunity to examine whether our federal emergency management policies measure up to our nation's affection for our pets and our flocks. I want to thank our witnesses who are here today. We look forward to your discussion, and also thank other animal groups, including the Humane Society, that have helped us to work on this issue. I would now like to call on the ranking member of the committee, Mr. Meadows, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairwoman Titus. Thank you for your leadership. Thank all the witnesses for being here today. Obviously, examining the issues of animals in disasters is not only an important topic for preparing and responding to disasters, but as we all know, animals play a unique role in terms of the resource